Right now, across India, hundreds of thousands of students are basically panic downloading gigabytes of data.
Yeah, which is just a wild image to think about.
It really is. I mean, they aren't preparing to go off the grid or anything, and
Yeah.
they aren't under some coordinated cyber attack. They are simply terrified that the app they use as the absolute backbone of their education is about to be wiped off the internet entirely.
Right, it's pure panic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive. We are tackling a brief but honestly incredibly urgent text today about this massive wave of anxiety that is sweeping through the user base of Telegram right now.
And we are talking about an app that acts as a critical digital lifeline here, which is suddenly just engulfed in this chaotic rumor mill.
Yeah, because if you look at social media, I mean, people are screaming that an outright ban by Indian authorities is imminent. Like, it's happening tomorrow.
While others are claiming it's all just fabricated nonsense.
Right, so our mission today, for you, the listener, is to cut through that noise. We're going to unpack the architecture that made this platform such a powerhouse, the vulnerabilities that brought regulators knocking in the first place, and the reported reality of what is actually going on.
Because the panic, it makes complete sense when you look at the structural role this platform plays for people.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we are not talking about a casual chat app where people send, quick updates to their families or whatever. The source material highlights the specific demographics here, and it's huge.
Lakhs of users. Right?
Yeah, lakhs of users, meaning hundreds of thousands. Specifically students, business establishments, and content creators. They rely on it literally every single day.
But to understand the current threat, I feel like we really have to understand the mechanics of that reliance. Like, why are these specific groups bypassing the standard platforms and setting up shop on Telegram instead?
Well, it's about infrastructure. Standard messaging apps, they usually function like,
Like a digital coffee shop, maybe.
yes, perfect analogy. You sit down with a few friends, you exchange some light conversation, maybe pass around a couple of photos. The infrastructure is built for, like, low bandwidth intimacy.
Right, whereas Telegram is built more like this bustling, unconstrained digital mega campus.
Exactly. It's a completely different scale.
The source points to two very specific features driving this massive adoption. First, the ability to effortlessly share enormous files. And second, the capacity to host literally thousands of people simultaneously in a single broadcast channel.
And that technical combination is everything in this market.
Why is that, though? Like, why does that specific combo matter so much?
It comes down to how different platforms handle data storage and distribution. So take a standard app like WhatsApp, right? It generally relies on client-side storage.
Meaning the stuff lives on your actual phone.
Right. And it uses end-to-end encryption by default for everything. So if I send you a file, standard apps compress it aggressively to save bandwidth, and then it lives locally on your device.
Which is fine for a meme, but
But if you are a student preparing for India's highly competitive exams like the JEE or UPSC, you aren't dealing in text snippets.
no, you're dealing in what? High-resolution anatomical diagrams, 3-hour video lectures.
The massive PDF study guides, yeah, hundreds of pages long. If a coaching center tries to send a 2 GB video lecture through a standard chat app, the app either rejects it outright for exceeding file size limits, or it compresses the video so badly that the whiteboard notes are completely unreadable.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen that. The text just turns into blurry blocks.
Exactly.
And even if it does somehow go through, it immediately eats up 2 GB of storage on the student's actual smartphone, which is a massive bottleneck for anyone who doesn't have, a top-tier flagship device.
And that right there is the crucial differentiator. Telegram operates largely on a cloud-based architecture.
Okay, so the files live on their servers.
Yes, not strictly on your device until you actively decide to cache them. And they allow file uploads of up to 2 GB, sometimes even more for premium users.
With zero compression, right?
Zero compression if you choose. So a student can scroll through a channel's history from like 3 years ago and access a massive library of PDFs without blowing out their phone's hard drive.
Wow, so it functions less like a standard messaging app and more like a highly efficient content delivery network, a CDN, basically, just wrapped in a chat interface.
That is exactly what it is.
That's essentially this shadow education economy.
Hmm?
You have coaching centers and study groups using broadcast channels to distribute heavy educational resources to an audience of, what, 10, 20, 50,000 students at once?
With absolutely zero friction.
That is wild.
And that lack of friction extends to the commerce side, too. If you run a business or create content, Standard group chats cap your audience at a few hundred participants, to manage network strain.
Right, the dreaded group chat limit.
Yeah, but on this platform, the channel feature allows one-to-many broadcasting without any algorithmic interference. You hit send, and 50,000 people get a push notification instantly.
It's just scalable logistics for digital goods. I mean, it's no wonder they have such intense user loyalty.
Absolutely. That architecture is what built the loyalty. But, and this is a big but that frictionless distribution has a fatal flaw.
Right, because when a platform doesn't limit file sizes, allows unlimited broadcast reach, and removes the friction of local storage, it basically inherently blinds itself to what those heavy files actually contain.
Exactly. Which brings us to the core tension in the source material we're looking at today.
The growing allegations that illegal content is spreading through these unconstrained channels.
Yeah. The exact same structural features that make it an incredible tool for distributing exam prep materials, they also make it an optimized logistics network for bad actors.
A double-edged sword.
Completely.
Yeah.
The text notes that the platform has recently returned to the news cycle specifically due to legal and security issues, which is what sparked the current investigations by authorities in India.
Okay, I want to push back on the platform's responsibility here, though, because here's where it gets really interesting to me. Let's say I build a sprawling self-storage facility, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
I give everyone a unit, I provide these heavy-duty, unpickable padlocks, and I keep the gates open 24/7. If someone rents a unit and decides to store, I don't know, stolen electronics inside, is that my fault as the facility owner?
Legally, that's what's called the dumb pipe defense. It's
Yeah.
common. You argue you just provide the infrastructure.
Right. If a tech platform provides the ultimate storage unit and a massive megaphone, how can authorities hold the platform accountable when malicious users inevitably take advantage of it?
Well, structurally, regulators view it very differently. Let's use your analogy. If you build a storage facility with unpickable locks, strip out all the security cameras, refuse to ask for ID at the gate, and design the loading docks specifically so trucks can drop off untraceable cargo at midnight without a single employee watching.
Okay, that sounds a bit more suspicious.
Right. You aren't just an innocent landlord at that point. Regulators will argue your architectural choices actively facilitate and optimize criminal behavior.
Ah, so it's the systemic vulnerability. The authorities aren't just chasing individual bad actors. They are looking at how the platform's actual design makes enforcement impossible.
Exactly. Take the API as the primary example of this. Telegram offers an incredibly open, powerful application programming interface.
Which developers love, obviously.
Yeah, oh, they love it. Developers can build sophisticated bots to automate almost anything. In an educational context, a bot can automatically index study notes or quiz students. It's great.
But in the hands of bad actors.
In the hands of bad actors, that same API allows someone to spin up a network of automated bots that scrape, duplicate, and distribute thousands of illegal, pirated, or illicit files across hundreds of channels in seconds.
Literally seconds.
Yeah. Traditional content moderation relies on human review or basic user reporting. That completely breaks down when you are facing an automated bot network distributing encrypted, multi-gigabyte files at scale.
It's like standard content moderation is bringing a bucket to a flood. The volume just completely outpaces the oversight.
And that is exactly what draws the scrutiny of authorities. Under modern digital regulatory frameworks, particularly the IT rules that are evolving in India right now, platforms are increasingly required to ensure a degree of traceability.
And swift takedown mechanisms for unlawful content, right?
Right. When a platform's foundational architecture actively resists that kind of oversight, investigations are totally inevitable.
Which perfectly sets the stage for the current panic we are seeing. You have this vital CDN-like tool running the shadow education economy. The authorities look at the rampant, unmoderated bot activity and start investigating the systemic vulnerabilities.
And in the absence of a clear public legal resolution, the social media ecosystem does what it does best.
It catastrophizes.
Exactly. It catastrophizes. The rumors of an outright, immediate ban just explode.
And it makes sense why people would think that, right?
Oh, totally. The leap from regulatory investigation to permanent ban is a very predictable outcome of an information vacuum. When authorities probe a platform, they operate under legal confidentiality.
So nobody really knows what's going on behind closed doors.
Exactly. And the platform itself is usually strategizing its compliance quietly. Users feel the resulting friction, they see the news headlines about government investigations, and they naturally assume the absolute worst-case scenario.
But our source material draws a really hard line between those social media rumors and the reported reality of the company's actual internal strategy.
It does. It pushes back hard on the ban narrative.
So let's detail that pivot, because the source explicitly warns against believing all these social media claims. Instead, it reports that Telegram is actually introducing new security systems and privacy features.
But they aren't just applying, like, vague security patches.
Right. The text specifically notes a shift toward controlling spam accounts and detecting fake activities.
Which sounds great. But how does a platform technically detect fake activity without breaking the privacy promises it made to its users? Like if they can't see the files?
That is the big technical challenge.
Yeah.
It requires shifting the moderation strategy from content analysis to behavioral heuristics.
Behavioral heuristics. Okay, break that down for us.
So if you can't or won't open the heavy files to see if they contain illegal material or just a 3-hour math lecture, you have to look at how the file is behaving. You target the logistics network.
Oh, I see. You look at the delivery truck, not the cargo inside the truck.
Precisely that.
Yeah.
Technical detection systems look for non-human behavior.
Like what?
Well, if an account is created at 2:00 a.m., immediately joins 40 different public channels, and broadcasts a 2 GB file to all of them within 3 seconds.
Yeah, that is mathematically impossible for a human finger to execute.
Right. It's an automated spam script. So the platform implements rate limiting and behavioral flags based on that kind of impossible activity.
Exactly. They tighten the API. They might introduce stricter authentication for creating accounts just to cull the bot farms before they even get started.
Makes sense.
They implement heuristic algorithms that flag and suspend accounts exhibiting those rapid-fire, high-volume distribution patterns.
So by aggressively targeting the spam networks and the fake accounts, the actual mechanisms that bad actors use to scale their operations, the platform can drastically reduce the circulation of illegal content.
And they can do it without having to manually read every single message sent by a legitimate user.
It's a strategic concession, really. They are cleaning house to appease regulatory scrutiny, hoping that shutting down these bot-driven logistics networks will alleviate the pressure from authorities.
Yeah, trying to avoid a worst-case scenario like a nationwide IP block.
Right.
It really is the only viable technical response. A platform simply cannot sustain unconstrained, unregulated scale indefinitely once it hits the radar of national governments.
The era of the Wild West always ends eventually.
Always. And the transition from a frictionless free-for-all to a managed, regulated ecosystem is always turbulent. The new spam controls might accidentally flag legitimate coaching centers that send out daily blasts of study materials.
Oh, I'm sure there will be false positives. The tighter API might break some genuinely useful educational bots.
And that turbulence on the user end, that friction, is exactly what fuels the ban rumors.
Because the users are feeling the engine being rebuilt while they're driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour. They feel the car shaking and assume it's about to explode, when in reality the mechanic is just finally installing a governor on the engine.
That is a great way to put it. The operational friction is temporary, but the anxiety it produces is very, very real. Which brings us to the core utility of the text we are analyzing today.
Right, the actionable advice. What you, the listener, should actually do with all this information. Because the source leaves us with some very specific directives.
First and foremost, reject the social media hype.
Yeah, step away from the panic. We are in a transitional phase of platform governance right now, and the rumor mill is operating on pure anxiety, not technical reality.
Second, the source advises users to just wait for official announcements in the coming days. The implementation of these heuristic spam controls and fake activity detectors will roll out systematically.
And official channels will detail what that means for heavy users, so keep an eye on those. But there's a third piece of advice, too.
And it is perhaps the most crucial for your own individual agency. Use this moment to audit your own digital footprint.
Absolutely. The source recommends checking your own security and privacy settings immediately.
Because when platforms undergo these major architectural changes, ensuring your account recovery options, your two-factor authentication, and your data privacy toggles are all up to date. That is your best defense against any unintended collateral damage during the transition.
Secure your own digital backpack while the campus sorts out its security protocols. I love that.
It's just smart digital hygiene.
So let's recap the journey of this deep dive. We started with the intense anxiety over a potential ban of this app in India. We looked under the hood to see why lakhs of students and businesses rely on it, specifically its cloud-based architecture, heavy file-sharing capabilities, and massive broadcast channels.
Features that effectively turned it into an unconstrained